welcome back to the podcast. Thanks for joining me today. I wanted to take a few minutes to share a personal story with you around the topic of fear. In this podcast, my goal is to help move you to take action on your goals. Maybe it's changing a habit. Maybe it's a dream. Maybe it's something big, a vision you have and something's holding you back. Well, oftentimes what's holding you back is fear. I know I can relate to this in many areas of my life where I've had fear that has caused me to not take action for some reason. And so I just pose this question to you is, when's the last time you did something even though you were afraid? So maybe it's a personal situation, maybe it was trying something new, maybe it's in your business. Well, I'll tell you what happened to me recently. So I went snow skiing for the first time, and it was definitely an experience. It was an experience that caused me fear and feelings of inadequacy because I didn't really know what I was doing. I'd never gone before. I'd water skied years ago, but even at that, I was not good at that. So I'm not experienced in skiing at all, and not always good at doing things like that on my feet, like roller skating, ice skating. I'm bad at that. So I was already going to it, a little bit of uncertainty. Go through this little lesson they teach you, basically for the novices, and teach you these techniques and help you learn how to stop and all this good stuff. And it's like it's going okay, but I'm looking at where we were on this bunny slope, as they call it, and then the regular slope, and it was night and day. Like, this was a big leap. I even asked the instructor, I said, so when we go up there, like, am I going to be okay? In other words, like, can I even do this? And he's like, he's so encouraging. He's like, oh yeah, you'll be fine. You got it down. You got the basics, and you know how to stop and all this. Like, okay, I don't know though. So, but we were there. We'd paid for it. We're gonna go, right? Like, I'm not gonna not go, but get on the lift and head up the mountain. And as soon as you get off the lift, man, you gotta get off and go down a little short hill there and try not to fall. I think I did at least once or twice doing that. And then you've got kind of this little flat area right there where you unload, and then you've got to get going down the mountain. And now we're on I guess this was the green. Although I heard somebody who was a little bit more experienced and knowledgeable about skiing say that's more of like a green/blue, meaning it's a little steeper and faster than a normal green. Great, even better, right? So here I am, uh, already very uncertain and not feeling confident, and frankly a little fearful. But I got to go down the mountain if I want to, if I want to get down there. So take a few minutes to gather myself and come up with a plan to get going. Again, we're lower. There's people coming from the top, the crazy people. So they're flying down the mountain. And so I got to get going and not get run over by them. So obviously, like, lots of emotions going through my head at this time, and lots of different feelings. And again, fear. But you know what I did at that moment? I said, hey, you gotta try. You gotta try. You gotta take a step. You gotta move, even if you don't move well, even if you're uncertain, even if you're unskilled. Um, and so in that moment, I actually headed down the mountain, and man, let me tell you, once we got going, man, it was fast. It was fast, faster than I expected. It didn't look that fast from the bottom looking up, but man, once you got going, now I'm a little panicked because I'm not slowing down. I don't want to hit anyone. I don't want to crash. Luckily, I was okay and was able to stop. Although I will say, uh, the 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 method they taught us to stop, this pizza method they call it, was not working at all for me. And so I went a few times and you know still uncertain, still a little fearful, but I got back up there and went again and again. And by the end, I was getting better, and I was learning to stop a different way. That other method was not working. So I said, hey, let's try something else. And so I actually tried I guess more of a, I don't want to say professional method because I'm not a professional, but where you actually turn and stop. And that actually worked. And so when I did that a couple times, like something clicked, and I definitely felt confident in that moment because that helped me see that I could actually do this. So there are three quick lessons I took away from this whole experience that I want to share with you. And maybe there'll be an encouragement to you where you are right now. Maybe you're facing fear, maybe you're facing uncertainty, and you're just not able to take a step. But here's the reality. First point: the feeling of fear never goes away. There's always fear. There's always some uncertainty and something that gives you, those butterflies and just that feeling of like, can I do this? There's always a little bit of fear. It never goes away, but your confidence grows as you face your fears and take action in spite of those fears. You know, I was terrified heading down the mountain, but I would have missed out on this really cool experience had I not taken that first step. And I would have missed out on realizing that I could get better, that I could go again and again, and my confidence would grow. I would still be a little afraid because once I got going again, it was fast and I was still not fully confident in my skills, but I was getting more confident, especially by the end. And we actually ran out of time. I probably would have gone a lot more, and I feel like I would have gotten, pretty good at it. So just know the feeling of fear that you're facing, that maybe is holding you back. That's just not going to go away one day, and then you're going to say, "Oh, now I can take action." It's not going to happen. You've got to act in spite of fear, and conquering that and taking some action is what's going to help you overcome it and to make it so that you can continue to act even though you're still a little bit fearful. Um, and the confidence is what's going to help you to as it grows, and it's going to help you to realize that, hey, always going to have some fear, but I'm going to take action anyway. And I know that my confidence is going to help me overcome that fear that might be holding me back. So that's the first point. The second point is overthinking will prevent you from facing your fears. It will actually paralyze you and keep you where you are today instead of where you want to be in the future. See, if I had stayed at the bottom of the mountain until I felt ready, I would have stayed there all day. I could have just stayed there all day and thought about, well, what if I do this? What about this? What's this scenario? What about this situation? I could have just thought of all these different things and tried to wait until everything was perfect and I was ready. And then I would go. Just like fear not going away, you're never going to be fully ready. You've got to jump in. You've got to climb the mountain. You've got to get out there and come down the slope surrounded by people who do know what they're doing, right? So you might be surrounded by a lot of people right now in a situation you're facing that you see and go, wow, they've got it all together. They've got it figured out. They know what they're doing. But the reality is they didn't start that way. So those skiers that are flying down the mountain from the top, they didn't start there. And we have to remind ourselves of that. So this overthinking and trying to make sure all the conditions are perfect before I take action is going to backfire because it's never going to happen. You're never going to get everything perfect. So don't overthink. Obviously, you want to give some thought, you want to think things through, but not to the point where it paralyzes you and keeps you from doing anything because you think, oh, I got to get everything just right. So uh, don't overthink. Third and final point is that fear will rob you of achieving your full potential. You are capable of more than you realize. I'm capable of more than I realize. And anything worth doing, anything that's of significance and importance to you, is going to feel like climbing a mountain. That's going to challenge you, it's going to stretch you, it's going to take you way outside your comfort zone, like I was. But you got to remember that climbing the mountain is just part of it. It's coming down the mountain, and using this metaphor of the skiing, coming down and skiing down that mountain. It's exhilarating. It's fun. It's freeing. It's an experience unlike any other. And so, whatever your mountain is, personal, business, goals, dreams, habit change, I want you to visualize what it's like on the other side of that. The climb is the part that challenges us and grows us and stretches us beyond our limitations. But maybe coming down that mountain, achieving that goal, getting on to across the finish line, seeing your business achieve the results that you're after. Like, visualize that and imagine what that's going to feel like when you get on the other side, and know that the only way you can get there is to face it, to face the fear, take action, climb that mountain. So if fear is holding you back today from doing something, from taking a step, I want to encourage you that fear does not define you. It's not who you are. It doesn't define you as a person, as a professional, but it will cripple you if you don't face it. So if you refuse to face the fear, it's going to continue to cripple you, to hold you back, to cause you to second guess and to think, what if? So remember that the vision of what you want to accomplish, remember that that's bigger than your fear. Picture that. Picture the vision, the goals, the things that you want to pursue in life. Allow that to guide your actions, knowing that you're going to encounter fear, but you got to face it. You got to face it head on, because the more you face your fears, the more confident you will become, and the more success you will experience. You can do it. It starts with a step. So my challenge for you today is to do just that. Take one step today to face your fears. You'll be glad you did. Thanks so much for joining me. Talk to you again soon.